Hi everybody, and welcome back to Long Shot Ballerinas, the podcast for adults pursuing excellence in ballet. This is the first episode of a mini series I am doing kind of before I launch the season 2 next year, and just talking about topics that maybe don't need a full 30-minute to an hour episode, but are nevertheless important in my mind to discuss, and maybe some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, and just kind of a fun medley. So the sound quality will be a lot less because this is just me talking on my iPhone. But I hope, nevertheless, that you get something helpful out of it, or at least entertaining. And this will, like I said, bridge us through the new year, through Nutcracker season, anything else you've got coming up. And I'll see you for full-length, much more highly produced episodes in the late winter, early 2025. So the first thing I want to talk about today is, the importance of letting perfection go, and in the context of kind of developing and or taking on new practices, starting a new project, the importance of not letting perfectionist tendencies stop you from just starting the thing. And I've talked about this a lot, not only just on Instagram, but I believe I have a little bit of it in the full-length podcast as well. But it's really important, especially as adults, people who are, I'm in my 30s. I'm about to be 35 next month, this month, which is crazy. In about 3 weeks is my birthday. And, not to say that we are, quote, running out of time, but we certainly do not have the infinite energy and, time that you've got when all you're doing is going to school. Maybe in high school you work a part-time job. Everyone's situation is different, but we are kind of pressed for time, I would say. At least I feel like I am. I feel like I'm pressed for time. I'm racing my body. I'm racing, my motivation. I'm just trying to kind of get as much done as I can with the little time that I do have, especially considering as adults, we have full-time jobs or at least part-time jobs. We have other obligations. We may have children or people that we care for. So I think it's really important to, when you've got an idea in your head that you're going to do something, to just go ahead and do it. Just start it. And don't wait for the perfect time because, surprise, surprise, there is no perfect time. There will always be something in your way. There will always be something that, could be going better for you. You could, have a better teacher or more dancing available to you. I fought a lot with that this past year, especially in the spring, kind of before I got it in my head that I was going to audition for the Nutcracker that I'm doing currently. And I was always making excuses. And I think that is a little bit a fear of success. Like, oh my gosh, what if it does work out? Which sounds wonderful, right? Like, what if it does? Oh, fantastic. But it's for some reason not that simple mentally. And, if somebody is more steeped in psychology than I am wants to explain this phenomenon, but that's what it is. It's fear of success. It's fear of, I think it's breaking out of the way that you see yourself now. To use myself as an example, I've always been kind of on the weaker side muscle-wise. So to me, I just feel like I'm not the type of person who would have strong abs, or I'm not the type of person who can, hold their leg up to their ear because they have super strong, quads, hip flexors, etc. And so I've had to fight that, why even bother because it's not perfect yet, or, why even give it a go because I can't, and it's a toxic way. Toxic is too big of a word, but it is it's a not very helpful way of thinking, and it will definitely hold you back. And a lot of the stuff, these are these self-limiting beliefs. And I think if you can, acknowledge that, I'm not saying you have to all of a sudden, abolish those patterns of thought, because that takes probably therapy and a lot of time. But you can just choose to go forward, even if you don't think, even if you don't think the time is quite right, because when is the right time? When is the right time? I love the Balanchine quote that is, now is all there is. What are you waiting for? I'm paraphrasing, but I think that's wonderful. I think that's, it's like try it all now. If it's something you want to do, you should try it now. And that includes, auditioning for a show. Anything that you try that's new, not only are you increasing that like neuroplasticity and you're trying new things, you're also proving to yourself that you do have the capacity and the capability to do something that's hard for you and, something you're unsure of. And that is that like resilience, mental toughness, mental resilience. That's really important for everybody to continue to build, not just as a child, but as you get older, because when you're a kid, there's lots of things that seem challenging, but when you're an adult, I think it starts to fade away. Everything starts to be not so big of a deal or not so important, or, you kind of just let things go and you're not as adventurous when you're whereas when you're a child. Maybe some people are. Maybe I'm only speaking for myself, but, I only have my own lens to look through. But I think that, just grabbing the bull by the horns and trying it out, you're also going to learn a lot from that experience. So even if it doesn't go well, you have gone, okay, well, I've tried this thing. Now I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how I feel about the road forward. It's different now. I feel like I didn't enjoy that, or I feel like I really enjoyed that, and now maybe I want to reprioritize the way I spend my time or my money or whatever. So whatever it is, you're getting some information, you're getting feedback, and the feedback is really important to continue to get in life. So that's my advice. That's my short advice is don't wait for the perfect time. On a little bit more of a less philosophical note on this subject, I was thinking originally my notes for this were kind of directed or like in the context of creating training programs, because I get stuck with that myself. So if we think about that, I don't know if anyone else runs into this problem where you're like, okay, I've identified a thing I want to work on. Let's just use, how about turnout? Because who doesn't want more turnout? And so what do I need to do? Well, I need to strengthen my glutes. I need to, see if I've got the full range of motion in my hips available to me, structurally. I've identified all of those things. And now you're like, okay, so now what do I do? But you're not really sure, because you've never had a ton of turnout, that you don't really know what's going to work. And you can consult experts. You can, read stuff on YouTube. You can learn a lot about physiology, kinesiology. You can learn so many things. And then it becomes this matter of, okay, now what choices do I make? Because I've got this finite amount of time. Say you have, 20 minutes a day. Well, maybe not even that much. Maybe it's 20 minutes 3 times a week that you have to kind of work on this. So now you've got it in your head, okay, I have to choose the most efficient, best, most effective exercises I can, because now I have a time limit. I have a really specific goal that's going to probably take a long time. So what do I do? How do I make those choices? And the answer is that's going to change all the time, is to just do whatever it is you think that you can do. Whatever it is, you found a TikTok that has, I don't know, a couple of exercises that seem like they take 2 or 3 minutes. Start there. Do that, because if you wait until you have the perfect training program, you have, invested money in a coach, and I'm not saying that any of that is not like absolutely valid and amazing and great. But if you're if you don't have infinite funds or time, this is again the confines in which we are working. So I think that the worst thing that you can do is hem and haw and go, well, is it even worth it? And I'm speaking from direct experience, because I do this to myself a lot, where I'm going, okay, but I haven't seen every exercise there is for turnout. And I'm not sure, okay, this person, I tend to look for people that I want to be like, or that like have the skill that I want to acquire, or the strength or the range of motion or whatever it is. And at the end of the day, I don't even know if my body can do that half the time, or even if it can structurally. I'm not sure that, that person doesn't just have more facility in one type of muscle fiber than I do. It's like you really cannot, you can't just keep getting information. You have to, at some point, take some action so that you can receive direct feedback for your body and yourself. Because I think it's been beaten to death, a point about how the internet is not real life, Instagram is a highlight reel, etc. So, those people are showing that, and maybe they do a whole bunch of, it's probably a compound set of exercises that maybe have nothing to do with turnout, but they are assisting. Maybe they do, they lift weights. You may not even see what exactly they do that leads to that great result. So you really can't base your own training off of just kind of little snippets and clips. The biggest thing, like for instance, that's been helping my turns lately is working on my abs, having a strong core, which seems so obvious, but it's not by doing these crazy turning drills. None of that is going to help me if I can't keep my limbs and my body together as I'm spinning around. That's just kind of basic physics. So, I've just had to keep trying things. And then if something stops working or something doesn't work in the first place, I cross it off my list and I go to the next thing. But the worst thing that I have done for my dance training and in my life is try and find the perfect thing before I start. Yeah, you need to start and then move on from there. And your plan, your trajectory is going to change so much quicker than probably you've ever imagined. And the cool thing about that is you're adjusting as you go to your own strengths and weaknesses, and you're identifying problems and you're fixing them. And you're not just going, okay, now I have the perfect quote training plan and now I'm set for life. It's never going to be like that. So don't start off that way, because you're just going to be disappointed and not really moving forward, kind of just staying in one spot, going for information overload as opposed to, just like research rabbit hole. Especially if you're neurodivergent like I am. It can feel really good. It can actually feel like you're doing something, like you're getting something done when you are not. So avoid that trap. Wherever you're at right now, I want you to, after you're done listening to this, I want you to sit down, pick your thing that you've been procrastinating, or, the thing that you feel like you just can't get right, and just take that first step, whatever it is. Whatever you've identified as the closest, most accessible thing to begin on this, whatever goal it is that you've got, do that thing today, okay? Whether that's like, I want to get better abs, so I'm going to do 50 crunches. Okay, fine. That's fine. Do that until you no longer feel like it's helping you. And then add more on top of it. Don't look for the best Pilates, yoga, flow, etc. thing. If that's not your thing, if you can do 50 crunches or whatever it is, or 25 or 10, do that and do it right now. Do it right after this, right when I'm done talking, okay? Whatever it is, do your plank, do some plies, stretch your feet, whatever it is that you're working on. Do it right now and just see how that motivates you, because action helps to further motivation. It's a lot easier to continue once you've taken the first step. So I know it seems like obvious advice, and everyone, this is not new, this isn't new advice. I'm not coming up with some kind of crazy, amazing, radical revelation here, but I think thinking about it in the context of dance and what we do, don't let that perfection that leads to really amazing technique and artistry get in the way of something you want to get going on. That you can be perfect later. Right now, just take the action, do the thing. Okay. All right. I hope everybody has a great, whatever day you're hearing this on. I don't know when I'm posting it, and look forward to the next one, probably in a week or so. I'm so far enjoying this. I'm on a nice long walk, bird watching, and it's cool outside. I have a coffee, and I'm really enjoying this it's low stress for me. I've been wanting to do this, so this is what I decided to do. I can't be perfect by making everything wonderful, and using my boyfriend's expensive microphone and doing all the editing and everything. So this is what you're getting, because this is me practicing what I'm preaching to you today. So again, enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.